let's talk about Immaculate, starring Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney plays a woman named Cecilia. She is devout she's devout of faith. She is coming from America to the Italian countryside where she's become a nun.
What a waste.
Well, yes. Like, I don't know. First of all, the Italian countryside, very interesting. She would choose that as a place to escape America. I'm going to show you a little bit here where you can actually get a taste of the movie and the tone. This is like an old school horror film from the 1970s. It's a lot like The Devils, if you've ever heard of a film called The Devils. Really great horror film from 1971. Not sure if anyone remembers that but me. It's a very good horror film, and it was directed by Ken Russell. Great horror movie. This is in that vein. And Immaculate, while she's at this in the Italian countryside, she starts to have some weird dreams, which suddenly lead to her becoming pregnant. Immaculate conception, who knows? She then has to deal with the pregnancy, and everyone at all the nuns being just, amazed that he is coming. Who is he? Something good or something evil? Sydney Sweeney was, again, this is through her production company. She was very involved in the making of this. A lot of really good jump scares. It is a religious horror film. 90 minutes. It's a tight 90 minutes. I'll just say the movie does a really good job of escalating the stakes. And everything I talk about of her becoming pregnant that's all in the trailer. But who is she pregnant by? Why is she pregnant? And what is she about to give birth to? So part of this is a little body horror. I will say there are some pretty gory parts that made me turn away, some really good jump scares, and an ending. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you. The ending is a shocker ending, and I can't say anything more than that. All I'll say is if you like horror that involves a little bit of religion, it's got sort of like maybe aspects of almost, you could think of this. I don't want to say, but it's in that realm of like other films that have explored this territory. She's fantastic in it. For those that are probably going to ask, before you ask, yes, she doesn't get naked in the movie. There's implied nudity, and there is something she wears that's kind of sheer, where she may as well be nude. Now, the screening I was at, she happened to be there for the screening. Her father was in the
yes.
And she told a really cool story. You can watch in the video for members. She told a really cool story about how her dad showed her all these horror movies when she was way too young, and she just sort of like rolled with it. But you can tell her father seemed to have a really good influence on her as a kid in terms of just introducing her to really good movies. So shout out to Sydney Sweeney's dad, I guess. I feel like he's an important part of her life, and she has a healthy view of entertainment. And I will say there are some action scenes in the third act where you're on the edge of your seat. I recommend it. I would say it's probably a 6.5 out of 10 for me. So, which is like a good. It's good. Is it great? Well, but a really good horror film, and perfect running time at 90 minutes. And Sydney Sweeney is not bad to look at for that length of time. I'll say that the horror really is like those wind-up horror where you're about to see something happen, really leaning into good use of sound and tone. And it's kind of an ode back to like old horror films from the 1970s, in particular, The Devils, if you're familiar with that movie. So I recommend it, but again, 6.5 out of 10. And not the best horror film I've seen this year, but worth checking out. There you go. Alan, any thoughts or questions?
Yeah. Well, you know how I feel about horror movies, so I'm probably not going to see it.
That's okay. That's okay.
But the other thing, Madam Web is a great advertisement for this movie.
Yeah.
She's become that person who's found a way to make make lemonade out of lemons, or turn lemons into lemonade.
Well, the director that she worked with, his name is Michael Mohan. He's worked with him a couple times. They seem to have like a good working relationship. There is something to talent and people behind the camera that like working together. They vibe. One thing, just to make sure that we get to this, Sydney Sweeney knows her audience. Let's take a look at what she was wearing at the premiere. I'm just going to go through a couple of these pics here real quickly. This is Sweeney at the Immaculate premiere. Again, these are nuns that have like these red faces. By the way, those nuns walked up Hollywood Boulevard and people kept yelling at them, which I thought was really weird. But here she is at the premiere. Look, she knows how to sell a movie. So kudos to her for that. And there you go. Her relationship with Michael Mohan, I think that they really vibe well together. So good for her. Good for her.
Yeah, I mean, she knows how to market herself. She's doing all the right things here in terms of Anyone But You and this movie. I don't think we've said anything really glowing about those two movies, but it was certainly popular enough to make people a lot of money, especially herself.
Yeah. By the way, Immaculate is out in theaters Friday, the same day as Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Friday, March 22nd. Probably see a preview show on Thursday.
Yeah. So, I think the point I'm making here is, if you're an actor who wants to do this for a living, follow her example. You don't have to have her body, but you can have her attitude when it comes to making movies, promoting movies, and the movies that you choose. And there's certainly a winning combination there. Don't treat us like we're the enemy. There's a level of gratitude I sense from her. There's a lot of self-awareness that I think people really need. It is possible to still make it in Hollywood today. And I think she's kind of going down the right path at the moment. Maybe there's an Oscar-winning performance down the road, far down the road. But
no. Let me stop you right there. We're going to go to. Let me stop you right there. She is one of the rare talents.
Mm-hmm.
He is thinking about the audience. Who else does that? Tom Cruise. Her agenda in her head is, my job is to entertain the audience so that they will pay money to see me, to see light and sound dance. Okay. To go see the movie. That is her number one role. And I believe, having seen her choices, the film Anyone But You, she keeps the audience in mind. I feel like there's certain people in entertainment. I think Ryan Gosling is also one of those people who's like, I'm thinking of what the audience wants. That's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters.
But the thing that I'll say about this is, there are a lot of actors who do this, but they make a lot of these movies that have appeal, and that makes them enough money to be able to make a movie that they're passionate about, that they don't necessarily care about whether it's going to make a lot of money, but it's the performance of their lifetime, and I think she can definitely head in that direction. She'll make enough hits to be able to make a movie that's very personal to her. And I say, go for it. Absolutely go for it.
All right, let's go to your comments.
If it wins you an Oscar, then all the better.